Hi everyone, it's Derek from the I Ready podcast here, and this is my reaction, as it were, to the 2-1 defeat against Aris Limassol in the Europa League Group C Game 2 tonight. I'm not even going to dignify that performance with a usual match reaction because that was an absolute disgrace tonight. Bar Butland and Seema, who ironically isn't even our player, bar the two players, that was an absolute disgrace from every single one of them. There was no fight, there was no passion, there was no want to try, there was nothing in that team at all. For a team that is currently managerless, more than likely a prospective manager is going to be probably watching that game. That was an absolute shambles from every single one of them. These players are playing for their futures in this club. I don't know if they understand that. They are playing for their professional pride. They are playing to qualify out of the group. They're playing to win, and they've just stole a wage tonight. As I said on Twitter, I hope that Rangers refund every single fan who travelled, both the ticket money and the travel money as well, because that was an absolute embarrassment from the team tonight. That is up there with some of the worst performances, and again, as I said as well, that is Pedro in the hedge, I think, because that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Rangers squad, just devoid of anything. From the front to the back, the defending was woeful. We all know the defence is absolutely calamitous at times. There was nothing going forward. The attack were all over the shop as well, choosing the wrong option every single time. Some players gave up. I mean, for the second goal for Limassol, it was quite clear that Lundstrom couldn't be bought making a challenge in midfield, tried to run back and just gave up. Couldn't even be bothered fouling the guy. It was just pathetic all round. What's annoying about the way Beale has left us is a lot of these players that still were here, it was clear we needed to get rid of them as well. And I know you can't get rid of 20 odd players in a winner, but he gets rid of players that could have actually still done a job for us, who were actually better than the players we got rid of. I mean, you look at Cholak and Sakala, we got rid of them and we've brought in absolute dross by the look of it. I know I've defended these new players before and allowed them a bit of time to bed in, and also kind of blamed the lack of any sort of system. But tonight, just on pure effort alone, they just didn't deserve anything. Limassol were clearly up for it, and they weren't actually that good, and that's the best of it. They didn't have to be that good because we were so bad. I've defended some of these players, but now the time is gone. At half-time, I was calling for 4 substitutions, bring the youngsters on, send a message to a lot of these players. That's certainly what should happen for the game at the weekend. Some of these bigger players, these more established players, your Taverniers, your Goldsons, your Barisic, your Lundstrom, get them out the team because they are no longer fit for purpose. They are ageing, they're not bothered, clearly. I mean, Tavernier, I think his pass rate was the worst it's ever been, in the 50% mark. That's unheard of. I am tired of players living off past glories, or you can't even call it glories because this team has been devoid of any major success for a long time now with the same players. Tavernier, this is the 9th manager, all in with all the caretaker managers we've had. 9 managers he's had. What does that tell you? Yes, he was good at one point, but that was the anomaly. That was the exception. That was not the rule. Same with Goldson, same with Barisic. These players are done now. I don't know much more what Davis could have done tonight. He could have made substitutions earlier. He could have made substitutions at half time, absolutely. I can't blame him whatsoever because he's been put in a position. He's accepted it, granted. But he needs to remember these guys are not his friends anymore. He's their boss ultimately. Yes, it might be only for 2 games, 3, 4 games. I don't know how long this process is going to take. But he needs to be ruthless, make a mark. If he wants to be a manager in his own right at some point, he needs to make a mark and set the line out. But there are certain players in that team now that are just clearly given up. They think they can just turn up and there's no challenge to them. Here's the point. I've said this in the previous podcast, we've signed another right back to take over Tavernier's place. Get him in. Get him in and get him in now. Simple as. I cannot believe we've went from 2 seasons ago to being absolutely outstanding in Europe, getting to the final of the Europa League, to this. It's just not acceptable in the slightest. And the board don't escape this either. I mean, they allowed Beale to build a team without any sort of system whatsoever. Absolutely baffling from the board. They need to get this managerial appointment soon, but they also need to get it correct, because if not, it'll be calls for sack the board straight away. People have seen it already on Twitter that the board, people are turning against the board as it is just now. In terms of the other result tonight, I think we've maybe ended up a wee bit fortunate with the league still wide open, because I think it's all 3 points apiece to everyone just now. So first two games are cancelled out effectively. But I really fear for the weekend now. St Mirren are playing great, they're flying high just now, and the way this team's playing, unless there's major changes by Davis at the weekend, I don't see us getting anything from this game. It's an absolute shambles. At the risk of giving myself higher blood pressure than I've already got just now, I'm running out of things to say, because I'm actually speechless at how bad that was tonight, and I just don't have any answers. Not many of us do, other than many of these players, their Rangers career should be over. Some of them should never see a first team Rangers shirt again, because that was an absolute disgrace. I don't mind getting beat if we put in the effort and we get beat by a better team and they just got a wee bit more than us. But tonight was an absolute disgrace purely for the effort. It's quite clear these players have got talent, but the effort, it's all about effort and desire. Limassol shown that tonight, we never. So I will be back with a post-match after the St Mirren game. Hopefully it will be a better result than tonight, a better performance as well. As I said, it's not a case of results now, it's a case of performances also. We need both of them. Tonight we got neither. So I will leave you with that cheery note. Thank you and goodbye.